Hi everybody, it's Lace here, and today I'm going to just do a little tutorial on mines. Not so much in the mining of itself, but as I was going through Soda Wiki, I noticed that there's a couple of these, I believe Spectral or Serpents and Verdantis aren't very clearly specified as to their locations, so I will get that updated. But in the meantime, I just kind of wanted to show the overland travel to the various mines. And all I did was at sodawiki.net, I typed in mines, and this is what came up. There's, the subject and all. So we're going to start off in Brittany, and I'm kind of just going to travel to each mine from that reference point or possibly the previous one if they're fairly near each other. It'll help educate you on moving around the overland map, uh, landmarks so that you know where these things are and can kind of find them later. This would be true for any of the resources, but do keep in mind that resources are going to change in their allocation. So while these mines might have silver in one and gold in another, or silver and gold, or oh, now we can sing that Burl Live song from Rudolph, silver and gold. Anyway, while they may have these things right now, and they may have certain sets of the crystal fragments and stuff, expect that to change over time. That's something they've stated repeatedly, that the resources aren't allocated in their final pass or anything. So I'll note what's there now, and this is at the end of R31. It could even change in R32, and this might be for naught other than the navigational experience you'll gain from the overland map and then going through the subsets to actually get to the mines. So I hope this helps everybody, and I'll get started here in a second. So starting off, I've got my flaming coconuts equipped just to get us there a little faster, but we're right here in the Brittany area, so that should be a good point of reference for you guys. We're just going to head this way. We're heading to Graff Gem Mines, and it will take us a couple seconds here. A little boring, but again, this is to help give you the navigational experience. As I'm coming up this way, if we look due east, is basically going to take us to one of the shard falls. That's one of the focus PvP areas where it's just kind of a free-for-all inside there. And you'll note shard falls by these black things here. Going further up, we'll see the town of DeSolis, and then East Reach Gap is a control point that'll get you over to, say, places like Ardoris, Soul Town and stuff. So that'll help you, and again, points of reference. We're going to have to go through a control point here, and I'm probably going to, just pause that out as I run through it, because that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, again, that's the East Reach Gap control point that I can see way off in the distance there. That'll go to our doors. So my dog Ruffian had a little bit of a commentary there. I think she thinks there might be some wolves coming up. I'm not sure, but apparently she thought there was danger stranger coming up. Again, this is a Vauban Pass, I guess is how you pronounce it. I've heard it's one of the pretty hard ones. Again, I'm just going to pause and run through it and come back on the other side. Well, I can see why people say that choke point, or why Von Bon's a little rough. It's got some serious choke points where the archers are going to slow you down and then the casters are just nailing you. But anyway, we're heading basically north from after coming out of that control point, and this is going to get us to, again, we're heading to Graff Gem Mines. And I'm just using my little flaming coconuts to get there quicker. Sometimes around here I get that random encounter of the dragon, so beware and run when it pops up. When I was trying to get random encounters to show you guys that, of course one would never pop. Maybe this time we'll get one. Nope, doesn't look like it. I'm not seeing it. It was usually right around in that area. Anyway, Graff Gem Mines, oh, did I miss it? Nope, there it is, up there. Is now up here. Kind of moved a little bit from previous revisions. It used to be set a little further back behind me, but this would be the entrance. So I'm going to go in there, and when I get done, I'm going to kind of guide you on how to find the actual entrance to the mine, because this says Graff Gem Mines, but you're still going to go into a scene to where you still have to navigate to actually enter the mines, and that's pretty much true with almost all the mines that we're going to cover. We've zoned in. You can see there's some people to talk to. You're probably going to want to talk to them your first time and stuff. And while there may be a couple ways in here, I'm just going to take one of the ways that I usually go. And that's basically still following a path. Going a little fast. When I get up to, there's going to be some mobs coming up. And I'm medium high level right now as of the time of shooting this, and they're conning green to me, so they're probably not that difficult, but there are a lot of them. So you may need some help at first, or you may die trying to get in there the first time. But it's not too bad. You can kind of train past them and stuff, unless you get stuck on rocks like I'm doing here. I'm just gonna scoot through here. I'm gonna go through this little like tunnel, and where I want to go is right down below me. Don't leap unless you've trained your safe fall, because you'll probably die. But I'm just running really fast, as fast as possible right now to get past them. And yeah, you can see they're conning grain, and boom, I'm entering the tunnel. This particular mine is going to end up looking like a lot of other mines because it was kind of the base model that's in the clone versions. But the materials that are contained within them are going to vary. Once you familiarize yourself with this layout, you'll know there's two open cavern areas that you can get to. The first open cavern area had a lot of like amethyst and what was it? It was amethyst, some garnet, some emerald, occasional diamond fragments that you can harvest. And one trick for doing the mines for the first time is follow the tracks. Now there's sideways and side passages that you can do that aren't on the tracks, and you will want to explore those because there's a lot of breakable walls. You can denote a breakable wall by when your mouse is over it. It will turn a green highlight on your pointer, and you'll just want to break those walls. Another thing to note in here is sometimes right over in this area you'll get a foreman that spawns. When he spawns and you kill him, he has like double the hit points of everybody else. I think he's like, these guys are around 400. I want to say he's like around 900. But when you do kill him, consider him like maybe a mini boss. When you do kill him, he can drop a key. And inside here, there's a gated area that if you use that key on, you can go and end up in other mine areas. You know, like they've talked about the underground connectivity that they've been adding. Well, this is part of it. And you get the key. I think it's called Spindrift Passage Key or something. And it comes from a foreman. And this is one of the places that you can find the foreman. He'll be somewhere right around in here. He may be up. I'm not going to kill him right now because I'm just trying to show you the mines. So again, the tracks will help you navigate, your basic passage through. But look for breakable walls and stuff to get you all the way down. And you will need to break some walls to get to like the second cavern, wide cavern area. There's going to be mobs and you're going to have to kill them and everything. But there's just more mining down there besides what you see in this upper tier. And I think that's going to conclude Graff Gem Mines. I'm going to run back over to Brittany and start there again. I've run back to Brittany, and we're kind of going to go the same way to go to the next stop, which we'll do Spectral Mines. And that's just heading this way to Brittany. We're going to be heading towards the East Reach Gap control point. So again, you can see we're heading to that little desert area right there. And it's pretty close. So if you live in Brittany, you've already seen there's two different mines that you can get to pretty easily. Well, we've shown you one, and heading to the next one. All this dead air. I don't really have anything to say. We're just kind of running to the gap, and I just kind of want to get you there to see where it's at. There's also a town here, DeSolis. It's got a big jailer area. Interesting little story going on there. Quest, of course, there and stuff. And when I get to the other side, I'll come right back of this control point here at East Reach Gap. On the other side of East Reach Gap, we're headed basically, if you started out in Soul Town, we're actually running right now back towards Soul Town. So if you wanted to go from Soul Town to Brittany, you would come, Soul Town's like right there, you would come up this road, run through East Reach Gap, and make the left turn once you zone on the other side of this, and that's where Brittany is. So that should help you navigate that. Spectral Mines that we're going to is going to be off this way here, Solace Bridge. That's where you started off at the Battle of Solace Bridge. And then Soul Town, like I said, is right up that way. You can kind of see a little building there. But we're going to go this way. Oh, I don't have my coconuts on. Well, it's not that far, so it might take us an extra couple seconds. I'm just following the path. And this may be an area that people don't always hit. I don't know. I didn't at first when I was starting out. I was like, oh, I didn't know all this was back here. But yeah, there's some little scenes and stuff, and I'm sure quests will lead this way and everything. And we're almost there. We're coming up on Spectral Mountains. What else is back here, just since we're way out here? And then we got Spectral Foothills. The foothills are what's going to get us into the mine. So that's where we're going to go, and then we'll navigate through there to get to the mine. Basically exactly the same way that we did it for the Graff Gem Mines. Inside Spectral Foothills, you'll see that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 skull area. I feel this is improperly marked because I get my butt kicked and things con orange here. But anyway, coming from the zone in, we're going to go left through this tunnel. And I'm doing this video even for me, not just for you guys, because I've gotten lost several times, and oh man, if you get lost, oof, you are not going to find those mines, because there's just a lot of choke points with stuff trying to kill you. As you can see, stuff's conning orange to me, and I'm not that low of a level. Stay on this high path. You go down that low path, there's a whole camp of these guys down there, and they are going to eat you, especially if you're low level. So staying on, that's probably my corpse right there that we just passed. I think it's still up this way. I'm just trying to get zombie, careful, they'll give you the plague. That's very unpleasant. When you get to this wide area here, this like three-way, you're just about there. You know you're home clear. So if you're coming from a different direction because you got lost, this is going to help mark that you want to go in here to actually get in the mines. So I'm back on the overland map, and you know, I showed you how to get inside the Spectral Mines. I haven't hunted this place, and I kind of just took a peek around real quick, and it's all hardened skeletal mages, hardened skeletal archers, which are just going to make your life miserable if you're a melee person. So yeah, I haven't really hunted there. I don't know where all the breakable walls and stuff are. I'm sure they're in there. But if you can't fight past a control point, and I don't mean run through it, I mean fight the mobs through it, you're probably going to have an unpleasant time inside Spectral Mines. I'd call it probably one of the higher level mines. Again, I think the skull on the foothills is wrong. I think it is a tier 5 zone, just because of the way monsters were conning and stuff. But this is where it's located. Starting back in Brittany again, one of the probably first zones that you'll hit as a miner, because it's not mob heavy, at least right now, is going to be the Owl's Nest mine. So from Brittany, we're going to go to Hidden Vale. So I'm just going to double click on the boat. That boat from Brittany will take you right here to Kingsport, which is a little city, of course, a little NPC town. But we're going to hang right and head to the north. And we're just going to cross this area here and run right around here to where it says Owl's Nest Mine. Again, you'll have to go through a scene to get to the actual mine. So I'm going to enter. After I've zoned in from the overland map, this is actually one of your shortest routes. I'd call this more of a beginner mining area because it's easy to get to. You don't have to die going through control points and stuff. And again, that's from Brittany. It's going to depend on, you know, where you started in the world, but it's a nice beginner area to just start working your mining. The caveat to this zone is it's only, right now at least, and I don't suspect that to change because it is a pretty small zone, it's only going to have copper and iron. You're not going to find silver or gold that you're going to need to do enchantments. I think that there's some sapphire. There's a good amount of sapphire here. Also, these guys, if you notice their con color, if I don't attack them, they're not going to mess with me. So again, it's a nice little starter area just to get, you know, your basics in copper and ore up. It's not very large. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's a nice starter area. And if you're only looking for the base mats, if you're not looking for the stuff for enchantment, or you're not looking for the crystals, it's very good for that. So we're back in Brittany, and we're going to go to the Serpent mine. In looking at this ahead of time, one thing I noticed on the wiki is it has the Serpent Spine as a mountain range, but the actual Serpent Spine foothills aren't shown as a location in the wiki, and that's probably because I need to do another pass through all the overland map and add any zones that are missing or anything like that. But you can see this is pretty close. So already you've discovered there's a lot of mines pretty close to Brittany. There are more, and I'm sure more will be added and stuff like that, because it does seem to be a lot of central mines pretty close to Brittany. But really, as far as the overland map goes, everything is not too terribly far away, so maybe it's not such a bad thing. I'm going to go ahead and enter here. If you can see that flash there, it says attention, this area is under construction. It kind of went by a little fast and my nameplate was in the way. And this is going to be in several of the mine areas, and we've already talked about that they're just clones of other ones. Another distinction in other zones is you can see this big under construction sign. Wow, I'd really like to have that for like a POT or something. We might have to ask for the devs. If they've made one, maybe we can have it as something constructible. But anyway, when you go into not just, the zones that we're talking about for mining, but any of them, it'll flash that message that, it's under construction. There's a 4 skull area. And there's a little construction sign. To actually get to the mines, I don't have my coconuts on, so it might take us a few more seconds, but I'm basically just going right here, following the path, avoiding enemies because we're not here to fight. And it's pretty straightforward. I've actually never ever been here, so I had to kind of pre-scope it out and kind of follow the path, figure out how to get there and stuff. There's so many zones that I haven't been to. I mean, I've stepped into them once probably, or right there, just to get the skull count to do the stuff for the wiki. But I mean, I haven't actually actively hunted in them because there's just so many to explore. And again, like I said, with the construction signs, that's something they added the last, I think it was probably R31, maybe even R30, where they're just giving us a heads up, hey, we know this is a clone of another scene, and it's not going to be this way. So getting to this mine is probably not going to be the same way because the scene's going to be different. But here we are. We're at the little mine. You can see it on your icon there. And this is the entrance to the mines. So we're inside the mine. And once again, this is going to be a familiar layout from some of the other ones that we're going to be going through because this is a clone scene. It's going to have the 2 large cavern areas. And currently, this one has iron, amethyst, and citrine. There might be some onyx or other things sprinkled in, but it's mostly citrine, amethyst, and iron that you're going to find here. I did a quick rundown and I didn't see like any copper or silver. Again, that may change. Things aren't itemized, and this is a clone scene, and it's probably not going to look like this, when we approach launch. Just to reiterate, we have a final wipe coming up July 28th. That is not launch. That is just final wipe. These things are not going to be itemized. They're not going to be I don't know what you call it, skinned as a scene or whatever. They are just placeholders for now, and the construction sign will help point that out. That covers this mine, and we'll be going back to Brittany as our next starting point again to just, give you one point of reference for finding everything. We're back in Brittany, and the next stop is going to be the Verdantis Mines. Once we get to those mines, we're going to kind of use some different reference points because they are a little bit further out than the ones we've covered. But we're basically just going to run from Brittany, and we are heading, where are we heading? Pretty much west. There's some paths. Stay on the paths. What else? You got your Shroud fall here. We're just going to keep going west and get over to the Verdantis area, which is pretty recognizable because it's kind of like in a mountain, snowy type area near Vertis, if that helps you out any. We're just heading that way. There's a control point. I think that's a Sanctus Spine or something. That'll get you over into some other areas. I don't think there's any mines there right now. That doesn't mean that a scene won't be changed to a mine. Again, I'm just going over the mines that are here for basically R31 / probably R32. Again, staying on the path, mostly heading west. Over this hill up here. We're pretty close. There's another shard fall coming up here. I think it's a Duisburg ruins or something. I think that's a shard fall, or maybe it's not. Oh no, it's just a scene. I just always remember this bridge at Duisburg. Sometimes I make the wrong turn coming off this way. Uh, Almost there. You can tell there's some mountains up here, so that's probably a good guess that we're heading that way, and that is true. And where we are going is almost there. I know I keep saying almost there, but it is really almost there. We're going to go right there. But I just want to point out, to give a frame of reference, that if I go back over this bridge and up this way, we're going to find another control point right there, and that is, which one is that one? Superstition Canyon. And also, if we continued on along this way, we'll be up to Verdantis. Just kind of wanted to show you, where we're at, because we're going to be starting basically from this point to go to the next one. So giving some frames of reference, we're near Verdantis, we're near Superstition Canyon, and we're going to Verdantis foothills in order to access the Verdantis mine. And here's the zone in here, right between these big mountains. So we just zoned in. You're going to see this is under construction again. You're going to see the under construction sign. Before I get too deep into here, I just want to point out something. Far over to my left is this beautiful quarry, like strip mine kind of area. And I think it's really cool because it takes me back to an actual real memory of a place. There's this place in Illinois where this guy, he has a combination lock on the land. You'll never find it in the cornfields unless you know where you're going. And certain people have the combination to the lock, and it's given out. And it's this piece of land that everybody just comes like on a 4th of July weekend and camps out. And there's a spring-fed quarry down there that's just crystal clear. You can scuba dive in it. People are swimming, scuba diving, and everything in it. And everybody's just camped out. Doesn't cost a thing. The guy just opens up his land. And this quarry area, I'm not going too far because there's a lot of mobs coming up, kind of reminds me of it because of the way this piece of land is actually set. And what a cool thing that something like this still exists, where somebody's not trying to, make a profit. They literally open their land up and everybody comes. There's some people running around nude, I'm just going to say, but mostly just everybody comes and hangs out and camps in this free place. Latrines are dug, and they literally, the outhouses you can buy in the game, they kind of look like that because it's just basically a hole in some plywood, and that's the latrine, and then it gets covered up and buried down, and then they move the latrine across the land. Well, latrines, because there's quite a lot of people that go. So this particular scene, the way it's designed, even though this one's a clone, I just find it really beautiful because it reminds me of this place that I've actually been in the cornfields of Illinois. Continuing on, we're just going to try to get past the mobs as best we can and head towards the mines. We've got all the satyrs and the fawns are up here. You can see they're slowing me down. They're beating me up pretty good, so you can see the difficulty of the zone. We're going to go up here and cross the bridge, and once we cross, you're going to find a kobold population. Sometimes you might see the satyrs fighting the kobolds. You're also, if we went to the left, we'll see a lot of prison cages, and there's some on the right here. Yeah, that scares me. Apparently, we're using slave labor to mine because we're coming up on the mines. And they're right here. So it's pretty easy to get to, other than you can see I've gone down 100 hit points or so, and we're going to zone in there now. Zoning into here and keeping in mind under construction, this again is, another cloned mining area. It's got copper pretty heavy on the first cavern area. The second cavern area has some silver. There's also, this is where you're going to find a lot of your garnet and ruby stuff in those cavern areas. And again, I'm not going to, drive right into those. Exploring one of the cloned areas will help you discover how to find the caverns and things like that. So that kind of covers this one. So let's go back out to the world map. Back on the overland map from Verdantis Foothills. We're now going to go kind of where I was kind of showing you ahead of time. We're going to go past Verdantis and some other things. and we're basically on our way heading towards Erie and Etceter to show you where the last two mines are, and that would be the Elysium Mines and then also the Etceter Crag Mines. So just coming back this way, and as you see, we were at Verdantis Mines, and there's Vertis. That's a nice recognizable location. We're now going past this area here, right between these two mountains, and we're going to then head to the south. Well, kind of southwest. We're just going to run this way. Got our coconuts on, not taking up too much time. The nice thing about the Etceter area is they're, boat accessible easily from the two Elysiums around there and my pre-OTs around there. Oh, and if you didn't know where Radio City is, there's Radio City. So you can see it's very close to Vertis if you ever go into one of the Avatar's radio events. It's also very close to Blood River. So now we've shown how close Blood River, which is one of the starter areas, how close it is to Brittany, so to speak. We're just going to keep running through here. You can kind of see, you're getting near Erie when you see these two statues. That's kind of a good landmark, but it's actually right down this way. But you can see the two statues, and we're coming up on it. And I'm going to take the boat and let's see, which one is it? New to Elysium. Yeah, I'm going to take the boat to Elysium from Erie. And when I do this, I'm going to see all these boats here. Two are to POTs, one's to Etceter, and then one's to Erie, which is where we just came from. This is Drowned Mountains, but let me just get moused over that way. This one is the Erie boat. So Erie, Etceter. There is a mines here. We might as well hit them. We're going to access the Elysium Mines. You're going to go into the Twins foothills. I know most of the mines have said like Spectral foothills, and it goes to Spectral Mines. Well, this mine is not called the Twins Mines. It's called the Elysium Mines, and it is accessible from the Twins foothills. So we're going to enter that. Zoning in, we immediately see the road construction sign there. We can also see it's, 5 school area, so not that easy. And we're going to head off and go to the actual mine entrance. We're going to head to the northeast, and if you look at my compass very, very faintly and not very bright, you can see there's the entrance to Elysium Mines because I've been there before. So keep in mind that once you've discovered a location, it will show up on your compass, and you can, help guide your way in there a little easier rather than just, the roundabout way of getting there. Circuitous, there we go. So anyway, I'm heading this way, just kind of following the path. Everything's kind of yellow, so I don't think it's too terribly hard. Like again, some of those ones that said 4 had orange cons, which are harder. So I'm questioning their rating. There's a few more exits, but we're not going to take the exit. We're just continuing on. And you can see that my marker is getting a little brighter, so I must be getting closer, right? And I am. As I come down here, one of the ways that I remember this particular type of scene, again, this one was a clone, is I just remember these boards going down this hill tells me I'm close to the mine. That's just something I keep in the back of my head. Again, this scene will probably change over time because it is just a clone. And there's a little warning. It's a 5 skull. And now we're going into the Elysium Mines. This mine has some gold here on this top floor. In the cavern areas, I believe it's, trying to remember, I think it's silver that's there. And then in the 2 cavern areas, like you've heard me speak about, because they're all clones right now, you're going to find your diamond and onyx. Just to, I've highlighted on all these gem fragments, I'm going to hit K for skills. And just to cover those, I'm going to go into adventuring. I'm going to look at magic, which also kind of directly relates to attunement by clicking this button. So we have fire, sun, earth, and stuff like that. Basically, every crystal fragment relates to one of these schools. What's that one in the center? Chaos. Okay. Basically, all these, and that's how you would upgrade your armor for an attunement, an affinity towards something. And the crystals are what do it. So as I'm mentioning, ruby, sapphire, onyx, citrine, and all these, they all directly relate to one of those things. So in addressing these in the mines, right now they are kind of scattered throughout their mines, that you can get a diamond here, or emerald here, or ruby here, or garnet here, or whatever. That's why I'm pointing those out, because they directly relate to how you can socket those in armor. Me as a crafter, I will make the suits of armor, but I don't attune them with anything, because then that makes it very specific to one type of user. If I build I don't know, a chest plate out of iron, and I put fire on it, well, maybe the user doesn't want fire, and I might have charged for me putting that in there because of the cost of, the gem to do it. That's kind of unfair to your customers, so I would advise against that. I would build the base suits of armor and sell the gems separately, and then they can be socketed in there as the player wants them. I see a lot of people do this, that make two-handed sword of tempestry or whatever, and maybe that's not what the player wants. But if you just made the two-handed sword and then sold the gem separately, then whatever. And then also people that got the two-handed sword from someplace else but is looking for a citrine gem or a diamond or whatever, they'll just buy the raw gems from you. I just think that's a better approach, and I don't see people doing it, and I kind of wonder why. Because why would you make something so very specific when you can make it general and sell the items to then let people customize it exactly the way they want? So anyway, that covers fragments, and that covers Elysium Mines. Again, that's located off the Twins foothills. It's not located off the Elysium foothills like most of the other naming conventions are. I don't know if that'll change, but just letting you know. So here we are back in Elysium. And we just came from, the Twins Foothills / Elysium Mines. We're now just going to take the boat over to Etceter, and that's right here. Double click that, and we're here at Etceter, and lo and behold, here's the Etceter Crag Foothills. Well, I guess it's just called Crag Foothills, but it's going to take us to the Etceter Crag Mines. So we're going to go in there. So we're inside Crag Foothills, and if I look at my compass way far away, so somewhat to the north, I can see the entrance to the Etceter Crag Mines. So that's the direction we're going to go. We're going to kind of head left. This one's got some choke points that can slow you down if you make a wrong turn and don't go directly on the path. There's, those dreaded archers that slow you, and then the maid will just burn you down, so try to avoid those. I'm basically just going to follow this path that's got the hardened elven. Usually when I see the hardened elven, I know they're a little bit harder than other zones. That may not always be true. Again, we're heading right there. We can kind of see it. We're still kind of heading that direction by following the path. Oh, look, there's an obsidian wolf that's kind of a little bit orange, so that's a little bit above my level, quote unquote. Doesn't mean I couldn't kill him, but we're not going to stop to do that. We're still following the path, and this scene may look like other scenes, because again, the other scenes have been cloned off this one. This one did not have the construction sign. You can see this is getting a little bit brighter, so we must be getting closer. There's my wood thing. I don't know if that's true in all mines, but I always see the wood thing near the mines. Now it's getting super bright, and you can see we're swinging to the left, and we're going to actually enter the Etceter Crag Mines. Now, while I haven't typically run through a mine to, actually show you the mine, I just get you there and show what's in there. This one's a little bit different, and I kind of wanted to just go over that. One of the things that, we've talked about breakable walls, but sometimes this area right here might be covered with rubble, and you might see the remnants of a ladder. And that's going to happen actually in the second level of this mine. These guys are beating on me, but you can tell. I don't care. I'll be fine. Anyway, this might look like it's covered with rocks, and you might see the green mouse over, and that will happen when I go down to the lower levels. We'll just go down there real quick. Again, I'm not wanting to show this. Oh, they got us in combat, and apparently I can't interact with that. Well, that's not good. I don't like that. I guess that's to keep me from cheating. I guess I'll have to kill them. Hold on. So I had to take my coconuts off, equip my weapon, and do all this, because I was trying to do a demo, but no, they had to ruin my day. Anyway, I went down the ladder, and as I got down here, I can see that there's a breakable wall. Oh my god, another thug. Come on, guys. I'm just trying to do a video here. Okay, easy get kill. As I go through here, I'm going to end up coming actually to another area that goes down. There's a lot of breakable walls in here and stuff. But what I was really just trying to point out was that this area right here, and you'll see this a couple times in this particular mine, is it might look like it's closed down, but you'll see the ladder, but you can't go down the ladder until you clear the area, which means, of course, you then have to kill the baddies, which is what we did. So just to point that out as something that you may see thrown into other scenes or other areas you explore. Not necessarily mines, but other stuff. And that pretty much covers the Etceter Crag mines. I think that goes over all the mines that I wanted to go over that are, at least documented on the wiki so far. If I've missed one, please let me know in the comments, and I will get it added to wiki, and I will get it added to the video or whatever. Also on Etceter Crag Mines, I forgot to talk about what was actually in there, and it's mostly gold and iron. There's lots of breakable walls in there because it is one of the more unique instances that have not been cloned. With that said, take care, happy hunting, and be safe.